Make a Path presents Let's Talk. Alright, deadheads, before I pretend I know what I'm talking about, did anyone notice that in the image from the new trailer we got, we saw walker parts? Where the hell are the bodies and heads? There's 4 pairs of legs. There's a few arms. There's no bodies. There's no heads. I don't know where the hell these bodies and heads are. Think about it. Someone came and killed walkers, dismembered them, but left the legs and arms. Now either they ran out of props, they took my walker shield idea, or some other shit is going on here. I don't know. But if you guys have any suggestions, go ahead and pop that down below. Now, let's move on with me pretending I know what I'm talking about. So I do believe we're going to open up episode 9 with a montage. This montage is going to show us Beth's funeral, it's going to show Maggie mourning, and it's also going to show how they acquired that truck that we see later on. Yes, it's the same truck that Rick gets out of in the new trailer. It also might be the same truck that they crash into a herd of walkers, and walkers are all over the hood and everything like that. I say that without confidence, but it might be the same truck. Also, what I can't put my finger on is when Rick is getting out of the truck, there is another truck in front of him, which leads me to believe that they are in some kind of 2-car, 3-car convoy. So they got a couple vehicles, at least 2. The interesting thing that pops out at me in this image is it looks like that's a body of water back there past the trees. I don't know if it's just the angle or what's going on, but that looks like water back there. It looks out in the woods, but wouldn't that be hella cool if that was Alexandria and we didn't even know it? Like that was their little Easter egg, like, ha, we gave you a hint of Alexandria and whoop-de-whoop, because I do know there is a little lake or a little body of water in Alexandria. What if that's when they get in the gate and pull over? Comic Alexandria didn't have a body of water. That looks cool. That's Rick stepping out of the van at Alexandria. Now, we do have to keep in mind, they're going to an area Noah lived at. So I'm assuming he knows the area. So it seems smart, instead of bringing a baby and Carl, and maybe even Carol should still be kind of healing up. Sometimes it takes months to fully heal up. So to have a weak Carol in the finishing stages of healing makes sense. So I do believe that Daryl, Carol, Abraham, Eugene, baby Judith, Father Gabriel, Carl, they're going to stay back at a barn. And maybe Noah knows this barn is there, and he knows it's close to Shire Wilt, and that's why he takes them there. It makes sense and it sounds good. I think they find the barn in the daytime, and I think this mainly because we see an image of Maggie and it looks like she's in a barn. She finds a walker, and this is all from the new trailer. I do not believe Daryl goes off by himself. He might be out hunting, he might be out killing a few walkers that are in the area, that way the area is safer. That sounds like something he would do. For all I know, Abraham is working on a truck. I mean, there could be problems. There's a bunch of different things. So anyway, I think a group of 5, which is Rick, Michonne, Noah, Glenn, and Tyrese, go to the Shire Wilt Estates. I personally believe that this is when they left our group at the barn, and the group of 5 go off to Shire Wilt. Notice Tyrese is the only one to look down at the bones. At death. Maybe that's some foreshadowing right there. But I believe 100% this is on the way to Shire Wilt. Now, shit goes down in Shire Wilt Estates, and I feel like Tyrese gets injured, and maybe possibly they can't bring Tyrese back. Let's just say that Tyrese gets injured in Shire Wilt, and then they leave and they go to the barn. There's a storm there, and they gotta rest there or whatever. And then they leave from the barn the next day, and they run into a new character. I think that's pretty much how it's gonna go. Let's just look at some of the images and pick apart a few things, and then you guys formulate your own opinions and leave those in the comments. The first set of images really tells us something that we already know. Yes, this is where Noah finds his family. In the new trailer, it appears that Tyrese is trying to slow Noah down, and it actually fits that image we got in the first trailer, where Tyrese gave Noah a look like, alright, let's do this. Prepare yourself for the worst. The arrow and the circle point to the same part, and the clothes on the ground fit the atmosphere outside the house, and as you can see, the sidewalk turns towards the garage. So yeah, this is the same area. These 4 images help me decipher when Tyrese will die. I thought Tyrese died saving Noah, and that's how Noah got the cut on his forehead from the first trailer. This trailer, it shows us that Noah and Tyrese are talking when Noah already has the cut. So I believe this first image is after Noah went into his home and either found his family dead or didn't find his family at all. And Noah's feeling pretty shitty. Tyrese tries to comfort him. This image right here, this could happen before the one I just showed Joju or after. I believe this is when they shut in the gates and they realize that Shire Will is surrounded with walkers now, and they lock themselves in. I think something happens, someone screams, it might be Noah, he's not in this image. Glenn is here, even though you can't see him in the pic. In the image right here where Noah is just freaking and crying out, he has the cut on his head, and Michonne is directly behind him. Seeing as Michonne was with him in the house, this might be him coming across a injured, hurt, or dead Tyrese. Down on this image, for some odd reason, I want to believe that that is Tyrese's blood on Glenn's hands. Because I was starting to wonder, why would Glenn have so much blood on his hands? Unless he was grabbing a severely bleeding Tyrese, trying to carry him out. Andrew Lincoln, the actor that plays Rick, and the producers did say that Glenn is going to step up in this half of the season. And maybe him saving Tyrese from being completely killed at this point is part of him stepping up. Now, these images when they're on the bridge, to me it looks like it's intentional. This is either after Tyrese dies or they need to get through these walkers for some reason. They are calm, they are cautious, and it looks like they're going to get rid of these walkers no matter what. Sasha, to me, it looked like she is taking out her anger on the walkers. Possibly they just fatally wounded her brother, or he is dead already. I also believe this is the time where we see that Rick almost gets bit by a walker. Now, it appears that Rick is in the white car that's speeding through at nighttime, plowing some walkers down. I looked over these images multiple times, and I'll tell you what, it's just freaking confusing. I do know, however, that it is just like the comic book when Abraham, Carl, and Rick went out to get Morgan, essentially. Now, this is what I mean about it getting confusing because of how it's shot. It looks like they just ran through a bunch of walkers, but then they get out to see how many more walkers do they have left. The walkers they ran over would be behind them. The angle, it just seems odd, so it's hard to predict what's going on in this scene. I don't know where they're going, where they're trying to get to. This still could be a continuation from the escape away from Shire Will. Noah could be with a dying Tyrese, and we have Rick, Glenn, and Michonne. Now keep in mind, those 5 went to Shire Will, and we constantly see scenes in the nighttime when the storm is starting to come, it looks like, with Rick, Glenn, and Michonne. So maybe Noah did get Tyrese back, or maybe Noah is with Tyrese somewhere. Maybe this is a longer escape than we think. I'm guessing they hit so many walkers that the car is just done. So Rick hops out of the car, whips out his machete. It's not Michonne's katana. I think Glenn says, "Yo, hold on, Rick," and he hops on top of the car to get a better look. Maybe he tells them, "Listen, we can sneak around to get where we need to go." So then they hop down into the woods, which this red lights here might be the brake lights or the bloody headlights, and they could be trying to flank around the zombies to get where they need to go. But where do they need to go? Maybe they're trying to get back to the barn. As they're running away and getting closer to the barn, this might be an image of Glenn. I guess he's shooting at a walker, which I'm loving how much walker attention the first few episodes of the second half seemingly has. I think that Daryl walking towards this door when the lightning strikes is set up. He starts walking up towards the door. We see that it's nighttime out. We see that Daryl's alone. He looks like he might even be looking outside the door. He could be waiting and wondering where Rick and the group are at. They might not have got back yet. It makes a lot of sense that Rick and the group did not get back yet. Daryl's a little worried. He's looking outside the door, and it sets up the fact that this door does not close. You know what I mean? That's why Daryl walked up to it. Maybe it was banging and making noise. Guess who's on their way? Rick, Glenn, and Michonne running for their lives because a herd is on their ass. I do not know where Noah is at this point, or Tyrese. I'm thinking they maybe bunkered down somewhere, or they're in tow also. You know what I mean? But I think they're running for their lives, and they get to the barn with the herd up their ass, and that is why we see them at the same door that Daryl was at, and they have to seal the door shut now. They have to sit here and push on the door to fight the walkers. They could try to sneak out to kind of distract the walkers and lead them away. I mean, that's a possibility. Maybe that's why Glenn is out in the bushes even. Maybe they're trying to hold the door shut to keep the walkers away, and Glenn is like, "You know what? I got this," and he runs outside and he shoots a couple walkers, starts running for it, and they they chase him. I mean, that could be a big possibility. Then maybe Rick and Michonne go out to save Glenn, and now Glenn, Rick, and Michonne have to make their way back. I mean, that's also a possibility. We could be looking at, well, I could be looking at it all wrong. They could handle their shit, come back to the barn. Tyrese is dying. Rick gives a speech around the campfire, and Daryl goes off. It's starting to storm, and then we see maybe that's what happened. That sounds pretty cool. Daryl is right next to Rick at the campfire when they are talking. Daryl goes towards the door. Boom, jump scare with a walker. Bam, he tries to shut the door, yells for help. Maggie's there, Rick is there, Glenn is there. They come, they all run to push on the door to keep the walker out, and then we see Abraham come out from nowhere and just slams the door shut, and then maybe Glenn walks off to distract the walkers and lead them somewhere else. I like that. And then we have images that I believe are after the storm, and that's where we have Maggie and Sasha turn around, and it looks like the same image where Rick and Abraham turn their guns on a new character, Aaron. And that would be pretty cool if they have Sasha and Maggie kind of talking to each other because they just both had a big loss in their heart. The tree is down. You can see it. That has to be after the storm. Something gets their attention. Maybe it is the new character, Aaron. Maybe he gets everyone's attention because in a different photo, we see Michonne pulling out her katana. Glenn, that tree is down. Trees come down during real big storms like that. I think all the scenes that we're seeing where the trees are down logically have to take place after the storm. Alright, I double checked the video. That is Maggie in both scenes where the survivors pull up their guns. But that could be them meeting Aaron the first time and then Eric. You know, makes sense that they would draw their weapons like that because a walker, they probably wouldn't be as cautious. Unless the thing just jumped out of nowhere. And speaking of everyone drawing their guns and being on the ready, back to that picture where it looks like a little mini bridge, you know, over a creek or something. And it looks like they line up to battle these walkers. They're not drawing guns. The walkers didn't sneak up to them. It looks like they are really clearing a path. That's what they want to do. That's what they're gonna do. Because notice, they don't have any guns. Unless somebody took their guns. You know what I mean? Someone pulled a Noah on them. I am so excited to see back-to-back episodes of the walkers being a big threat. I can't wait for it. And it looks awesome. I gotta shut myself up now because I'll just keep rambling. Tell me what you think is going to happen in episode 9, 10, 11, so forth. Comment down below.
I'm done talking. It's your turn now.
I'm done talking. It's your turn. Subscribe now.
Here's my dad. He's annoying. Really, just annoying.